Welcome to the Honda Resource. Today I'm going to be working on finishing up assembling the engine for our Green Dragon, the all-wheel drive EG Civic. Those of you who don't know, I had a sleeved K24 block in here with a PRB K20 head. It made 873 horsepower. Unfortunately, back at probably around the 1st of March, sometime like that, we had a freeze come through here and it cracked the block, and also found a crack in the head. So I had straight water in it because all the tracks around here, by regulation for how fast my car is, I have to have straight water in there, and I didn't think about it sitting in my shop, and unfortunately it froze the stuff and cracked it. So I've got another K24 block here. This is a CSS high horsepower O-ringed block. So we've got some Arias pistons, Sainz 300M rods with 625 bolts. Got some L19 head studs here. I've already put those on. And then for the head, I decided to go with a CRV PPL head, which is like a K24A one head. These CRV heads have the economy vtec. So what I'm going to be doing is doing a half lock vtec. Now, if you don't know what that is, so basically we flip the pins into where one intake valve and one exhaust valve from each cylinder is riding on the VTEC lobe at all times. So it may have a little bit of a chop at idle, but it's probably not going to be pronounced like a true locked VTEC, and it's still going to make good power, and it should retain some idle functionality too. We will have to get it tuned again, but that was kind of in the plan anyway, because these pistons are a little different compression than the other pistons. We got a Cometic gasket. I prefer the JE Pro Seal gaskets, but Pro Seal, they say don't use that with O-ring block. They say to use Cometic, so hey, we got a Cometic gasket. And you know what a little pet peeve of mine is people that call them cosmetic gaskets. This is not a cosmetic gasket. It's Cometic. There's no S in there. So as I said, this is a PPL head. CRV had two variations of the head, PPL and PPA, that do the same thing, function the same, look the same, all that stuff. Here I got some SuperTech valve seals. It had two bent exhaust valves. Pablo down there at Real Street hooked me up with some new valve seals, and also got the two new replacement SuperTech valves. So shout out to Pablo down there at Real Street Performance, the homie. He always has the fast shipping and the right price, you know what I mean? We did go ahead and swap over all my studs on the intake side. I do have, on mine, I run all studs on the exhaust side too, so I've got to extract the other three studs, because the factory has 3 bolts and then 2 studs. So I like having studs on all mine. So I've just got the OEM studs all the way around on mine, and so I just got to pull those off of the old head and then put them back in here. So it's not that big a deal. I've got the hybrid racing heater hose delete, and then this over here is just the Track Tough outlet for the Dash 16 coolant line. Before I put this on, I'm going to take some brake cleaner and see if I can clean all this mess off right here. Alright, so I got that pretty clean. I mean, it's not perfect, but it'll work for me. So yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm just wanting it to be as clean as it can. Also, I want to give a shout out to Brian Gaddy. He's the one that gave me an idea about doing the flip pin, and also thank you to Northport Machine Shop for taking care of my cylinder head. Already got my alignment dowels in here. Alright, already got all these studs ran down by hand. So now, and we got it top dead center, looking outstanding. This block is so nice, man. I love it. So anyways, now what I need to do is get my gasket placed up here, and then we'll get the head set on here. It's got me so fixated, and I'm not the type to wait around. I've never hesitated, but she's got me captivated. So the game, I'm gonna play it, yeah. You got a body like a coke. So that's looking pretty dang good. Heck yeah. So now all I gotta do is put all the nuts or the washers and the nuts on all these, and we got to go there. Get them all torqued down to spec. Looking more complete every day. Yes, sir. So real quick, I got the studs torqued down, torqued them to 90 foot-pounds in 95 foot-pounds in 3 separate steps. Typically, like a K-series like that one over there with the stock head bolts, you would do 28 foot-pounds and 90 degrees and 90 degrees. That's the stock head torque specs. So with these, I've always done just like a 3-step torque process, kind of like what you would do with a B-series or something. It's always worked out really fine with these. So it's starting to rain, so maybe have a little interference from the rain hitting the roof, because I do have a metal shop. But got the oil pan off and cleaned it up real good. I had it tapped the other day from my buddy up there at TVR Automotive. Put a vibrant fitting on the oil pan, welded on the inside, and it comes out right here on the front side of the oil pan this time. Previously, I had a aluminum oil pan, and the oil return for the turbo was on the back right above the oil drain. I mean, that's really not the ideal location, because the way the K-series sits in the car, the oil pan slants, and the highest point of the oil pan is technically on the front of the oil pan. So I really wanted a drain back on the front of the oil pan, and the aluminum oil pan, the drain plug has started to strip. So I mean, it just made sense to go ahead and swap it out. I have a steel pan here, and so I just went ahead and took it up there, you know, with the new fitting, and had him TIG that on there for me real quick. So thank you, Jamie, up there at TV Automotive. He really took care of it. Got some hammered Rust-Oleum on my oil pan here. Hopefully it don't run. I've been trying to do it in layers. I don't know, just something I had here. I didn't have enough black to actually do the pan, so hammered Rust-Oleum is. At least it's strong. Alright, so to elaborate more on our half-lock VTEC, this is, like I said, a PPL head, same as like a PPA, a K24A1 head, but it does not have the lost motion assembly. Practically the only difference between this head and an RVC, that the ports are almost identical. The water outlets are identical to the PRB. Obviously the valves and everything, they swapped right over. So without the lost motion assembly, you don't have anything for that third lobe of the cam, or of the rocker assembly to ride on. So what we got to do is we got to half lock it, so that essentially one cylinder is, or one of the valves on the intake and one of the valves on the exhaust is riding on the VTEC lobe at all times. And then whenever it does the VTEC crossover, it'll go to both valves on the VTEC lobe. This is something that was brought to my attention by Brian Gaddy. He's one of my subscribers, but he does a lot of K-series stuff like this too. He made solid power with his K24 all motor, he had actually K24A2 bottom end with a K24A1 head with a half-lock VTEC. And I think he told me he made 240 horsepower with it completely stopped. So, but we will be using the K20A2 cam tower. We're going to be using K20A2 cams, and we're going to be using a 50-degree VTC, all that good kind of stuff. So let's see if I can find it. I know it's in one of these boxes around here. It's got too much junk in here right now. This is crazy in here. I just absolutely despise it when the shop is like this. But I've got the K24, K20 set up here that's going in the CRV that I've been working on. So I've got parts here for that, and parts for a couple 8-gens that I've been working on too. And then all the parts for the Green Dragon here. So as soon as I can get the Green Dragon back together, man, it's going to clear up so much of this stuff. Alright, so essentially what we're going to be doing is we have a three lobe rocker set up here, like for your regular conventional VTEC. So you can see how this one has the spring, so we're going to leave that one alone. So what we're interested in is these two here that have the stationary pin. So you can see, let me get my magnet real quick. Alright, so the pins that we need to change is this one right here. Okay, you can see how long that one is, and we need to change. Oops, see that one's the spring, we don't need to change that one, so we'll put that one back in. Alright, we need to change this one. You see how that one is shorter than the other. So originally the short one is in this and the long one's in this. What we need to do, really you could have left the long one in there and just pushed it through. But we gotta push the long one through this and over into this, and then put the short one in here. So what we're gonna wind up doing is that pin is longer over here, is gonna be holding it to this. And so this now becomes locked, half locked. So whenever the VTEC engages, it'll put this one onto this too and make it to where we have our full VTEC. Otherwise, this one valve here is going to be right on the VTEC cam. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. So we just got to swap all these over. Yep, just like that. That one's done. Now, once we squeeze all these together, see, boop, looks just like factory, and it'll do just fine.
Yeah, I spit raps like a heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new.
So now I got the cam towers on here with the cams in here. I've still got to take these two back out to put the timing chain on. But that's no big deal. This is how I always do it. I just go ahead and torque all of them and then come back, take these two out, do the timing chain, torque these two back to spec. These all torque to 16 foot-pounds. If you need more information about the torque sequence on these, I have a video on my channel showing how to do this that I'll link up here in the right-hand corner. So this is an OEM tool. Let me see if we can put it over here where you can see it. It locks the cams in position. So if you see this little hole right here, you have to turn the cam with a 24 millimeter right here, right? Right there, and then our up position. You see the dot right there, the white dot, kind of up. All right. So you turn it to up position, and you can see how that hole lines up with the cam tower. So once you get that lined up, you can slide this little tool right in. Now I'll have to use two hands to do it, but once let me get this one done, and I'll do this one, and I'll pick it back up.
In this meticulous and limitless, while others out there.
All right, so that, like I said, that's pretty easy and straightforward. It just goes straight into there, holds those cams into place, so that you can put your timing chain on over here, and it holds them right at top dead center, so that you're not having to guess or fight or any of that stuff. You see, our arrow is up, our dot is up. All right. So now we'll zip this back off real quick, and then we'll put the timing chain on. All right, so once the cams are locked into place, then we just have to turn the crank pulley, or the crank gear here, until the little arrow right there lines up with that arrow. So I've got all our timing guides on now, and then now I can put this chain on, and that's just gonna hold these into place. We may have to turn the crankshaft just a little bit to get a little bit of slack over here, just to get it in place, and hopefully we'll be able to show you how to do this.
I'm marching till it's over. Just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer. I'm marching till it's over. And just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer.
So if you're interested in one of these tools, I have these on my website, thehondaresource.com, and you can pick up one of these on there. I have 5 available. So if you want one of these, go on there and pick it up today.
I'm marching till it's over, and just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer. I'm marching till it's over. Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. Be the best of what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow, call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up.
Alright, so that's got a bunch of the main parts on the engine now. The rain's picked up significantly. But, I mean, you can kind of get the idea. Got the timing set on, ATI, timing cover, all the cams, the cam tower, all that jazz. I got the vtec solenoid back on, as well as the VTC strainer, which is right here. Yeah, right there. So, yeah, I still got to do a valve adjustment and some little knick-knack stuff before, you know, I'm ready to actually put the valve cover on. Still waiting on the valve cover to come in that I ordered. I've also got to put in the other 3 studs here. I had all OEM studs on mine instead of the 3 bolts. So I'm going to get those out of the other head and put them on here. Anyways, those clips that you just saw were from Friday. Today is Monday. I've got a little more done on the motor. The giveaway was concluded. He's already picked up the card, picked it up Saturday after the giveaway. But back to the motor. Still waiting on the injector to come back in. I have them sent off to be cleaned. Right now I've just got one nut holding this intake manifold on. This, my old valve cover, just got it set up here right now. I'm still waiting on my other one to come in. I'll be deleting the factory port here. I'm just gonna have 2 -10s right on the front. I got all the studs put on for the exhaust manifold. But as you can see, I only got like the 2 top nuts holding it right now. I wrapped the pipe again, the exhaust pipe. I also got the girdle on here. I had to modify it just a little bit right here to clear the track tilt water plate. So it's still, you can kind of see it there. It's got clearance now, so now I'll be able to have a little extra support with that on there. Be able to bolt it to the bottom of the transmission. Like I said, I had a aluminum oil pan on there before, and it pretty much has all this built into it down here. So I just like that extra little bit of support on it. I already had the bracket here, so I just went ahead and put it on there. Yeah. But I still gotta go get the paint and stuff to start prepping the engine bay in the Dragon, because I don't want to paint it before I put it back in. It's gonna have a fresh valve cover and all that stuff, so I just really want it to look, you know, pretty good. The turbo kit bolted on the Easy's K24, K24, K20. So it's got a K24A bottom end, TSX, RBB, K20G3 head with the K24 RBB cams with a 50-degree VTC. We got the turbo kit bolted on here. And this is, again, it's going into a CRV. Got a little Turbonetics turbo. Should make for a fun time in a little CRV. Thanks so much for joining me on this video. Hopefully you'll check back and follow some more of the Dragon build, the CRV build, and all these other builds that we have going on. Right now I think I have 20 cars. I sat down last night at work and made a list of everything I've got to work on. I have 20 cars, and that's not including the S2000 or the Insight. So yeah, I've got a lot to do here, and it's pretty much to the point that I put in to be off work in like 2 weeks for a whole week just to get stuff done here. It is what it is. It's how it is sometimes. But anyways, hope to see you around soon. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe, do all those things you've been doing. Appreciate you, YouTube. Peace.